everyone, and welcome to the All Things ITSM Global Podcast, coming to you from SITS in London. I'm Kirsty McGowan, I'm here with Ivor McFarlane.
Hello.
And our guest today is Daniel Breston.
Good morning.
From Curiosity.
Yep.
Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you.
Tell us, Lean and ITSM. I've been reading some of your blogs lately on this topic. How do you see that working these days? Are you getting a lot of call for a combination of these frameworks?
We're starting to. The lean interest is benefiting from people trying to use Agile and DevOps, and Agile getting the development teams very fast, and still not being able to drive that value-driven purpose back to the business. And because of that, Lean is saying, well, ignore technology for right now. What does the business really want to do? And now because of that, let's take the third cost in most organizations after where they are and the people they have, technology. And what can we do to do one of two things, which is help something that they do go better or remove an obstacle. And that allows things like enterprise service management to benefit, not just IT service management.
On that. I mean, that's just interesting. I mean, it's a very old technique, as old as engineering. But it's nice to see that bridge of old ideas coming into new technologies.
We were helped a lot by, I mean, there's a lot of good books out on the market now that are IT related, and it's with Lean as the backdrop. And you know, there's conferences and websites and LinkedIn and stuff. So I think the market is beginning to mature as to what are the capabilities of being able to think differently, and not just say, are you having a good day? And yes, I am, because I answered all these incidents. But ask the question differently is, are you having a good day, Mr. CIO? And if you had to go to a peer, can you prove that from their perspective? Not from your perspective, okay? Because you just told them you're doing your job. But from their perspective, can you say, IT am having a good day? And that drives what is a key performance indicator really. And the discussion different.
I mean, and that's the crucial point about service management that IT service management haven't always understood. Is that, and the analogy I always use is a fire service. If the firefighters have a good, exciting day, rushing around in a big red truck and putting out fires, that's not what society wants. And IT having a good, successful day isn't necessarily what the company wants.
That's right. So I hear you're speaking at a pretty large event on Lean later this year, Daniel.
5 years ago, the authors of Lean IT, Stephen Bell and Mike Orson, worked with a very energetic French consulting firm called Operate Partners, and they created what they thought was the first European conference, 2-day conference that was all about Lean in IT. As they started to think about it, they realized it was the first global event. And that now has become an annual show, and where before we just had a couple of hundred people there and 4 or 5 speakers, now we have some very major figures in the DevOps world and the Agile world and the Lean world that are coming and showing off their tools, showing off their processes, speaking on it. And it's, you know, the venue has 1,000 people, 2,000 people, so it's starting to grow on an annual basis, and people are coming from around the world.
Excellent. So what are you speaking on when you're there?
Well, last year they were very agile and stuff, and they kept running up to no one's really taking the operations side. So I'm taking the IT services and operations side, because that's, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all, you know, I'm an IT service management person. I've always been on the operations and services side. And somebody has to raise our voice.
Absolutely.
Because we're the one that the business kills. I mean, talks to first.
That's the one, you're in the firing line.
It's absolutely at the sharp end, and the benefit of that is that when you do it right, the benefit should be that when you do it right, you get appreciated. But the very nature of operations is that when you do it really right, they don't see you. And getting that message
I think one of your talks, Ivor, said that you need to be a good service manager is invisible.
Absolutely, but it's a very difficult to get funding for something that's supposed to be invisible.
Yes.
So, and if you're fighting that corner, I'm sure we're in good hands. Then.
Yes.
So Daniel, you do a lot of consultancy work going into companies and happening. So what are companies asking you to come in and do? How do you help you with the lean principles that you're going in there with? So you do quite a bit of coaching.
I guess the interesting one is you have a CTO who says, I think I'm always having a good day. Can you help me try to figure out why I'm having a lot of SEV1s?
Right.
And you realize that he doesn't understand the definition of the word good.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you can't be having a good day as a CTO and then asking a consultant to come in and deal with the number of SEV1s that you have. There's a disconnect somewhere.
Yeah.
And because Lean turns that question around and says, what is good?
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
And how are you coaching? Why are you asking me to do this? You're the chief technology officer. Why aren't you downstairs sitting with the teams and trying to figure out, not in a blame game, okay, but what process broke? What skills aren't we having? What capabilities do we need to drive? I mean, Matt, one of the gentlemen in the keynote this morning came up with a very interesting statement that people forget. IT is a capability. Yes, it's a profession, but from the business perspective, it's a capability. And it's the capability to maintain compliance and to maintain competitive and just attract customers and attract good staff. If you treat IT, you've written about this for years. If you treat IT as well as if you treat IT as a capability, the questions change.
Yes.
And I think Lean, because we ask silly questions like why, okay, helps drive that point.
Good. Well, Daniel, it's been a pleasure chatting with you this morning and getting a viewpoint on Lean and ITSM, which is an interesting topic.
Thank you for your support, all things.
Thank
you, Ivor, for everything that you've taught us over the years.
Thanks, Daniel.
All right.
Pleasure to have you here.
Bye-bye.